Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name is Chris, and today we are finally going to be working on the roof for the train station here. This is a long time coming, and I can't wait to show you guys once it is done. So we are just going to jump right in, and we are going to get started working on the train station roof right now. All right, so this is the section that I have so far, and while I do think this looks really good, there's a couple of things that I want to improve about it. First and foremost is that I need to add tiles to this section right here. As you can see, I need to add 2x tile across the top. The second thing that I want to do is I want to actually swap up this plate under here to light gray, just so it matches the tile work on the edge of the building. So that is that. And then I also have to figure out the whole plate situation under here, how far I want that to continue down. And then, yeah, so we're gonna, we have quite a bit of work to do. We also have to build the other half of it. So this is gonna sit about there, I think. And I think that looks really good. I am extremely happy with that. And then in the middle here is going to be a taller structure here that has a clock on it. So that's why these white bricks are here, but I also have to figure out the size of that. So I'm not entirely sure how big I want this to be just yet with this section in the middle, I mean. So I have a little bit of work to do with that. But in the meantime, I'm not going to worry about that quite yet. I'm going to go in and I'm going to add the other side in, and I will show you guys that section once that is in, and then we could take it from there and adding in all of the details and all of the other pieces like that. All right, so this is pretty much what it's looking like so far. I just need to grab a couple more 2x4 plates for the edge here, but that shouldn't be a problem. And I think this is actually starting to look really, really good. So if you kind of take a look here, I think that looks great. And then if you come over to this side right over here, you can see what I mean with that white plate. I think it'd look a little bit better if that was light gray, just continuing the light gray from the first floor all the way up to the top. And so that is pretty much where I'm at right now, but I want to just finish the top off, I think, first, and then we can worry about the plate underneath, because still not entirely sure about that. But I did also add these brackets in. I think that gave a nice little end cap to the sections here. I think that looks pretty good, and I might even go ahead and add some 1x2 plates under here as well, or maybe like the rounded 1x2s. I think that'll be a good idea. So I got a lot of work cut out for me at the moment. So let me add the shield tiles and these round 1x1s to this side, and then we can see how this is going to look. I did the math, and as you can see, the middle where this bracket would normally be right here is going to be 2 studs wide instead of 1 in order to make it symmetrical. So I have to figure something out for that. So not entirely sure how that's going to look, but I guess that is what today's video is for. So we are going to figure that out. So let me get started on putting all of these pieces on it, and I'll show you guys how it starts shaping up. And so if you guys are interested in creating this pattern for yourself, this was not my idea. I originally saw this on Instagram from an account called ChrisBricks. So huge shout out to them. This was a really, really cool design that I was really inspired by. And so basically all it is just shield tiles that are placed kind of on top of each other. And the groove on each side kind of helps accentuate the 1x1 rounded piece right here. And then what I'm doing is, to get that step up in here, I'm using the white studs yet again. I feel like I've been using them everywhere these days. And then you just slot that in, and you can't even tell that there's a white stud in there. And then you just keep going pretty much. And then for this section right here, I would add white studs and then the piece on top, and it would just keep going. And so that is literally it. And so I'm really happy with this technique. I think it looks great. It's very part intensive, but it's absolutely worth it. As you can see, the final product just looks so good. And so I have to find a whole bunch of dark gray 1x1 plates, which might be my downfall. Actually, I didn't even realize that I needed those. So that is unfortunate. I'm going to have to look into that to hopefully I can find a few for this, but I guess we will see how many I actually have. All right, so actually although I've just done a bunch of work here, I might end up redoing most of it because, like I said, it's 50 studs wide here and there's a 2-stud gap in the middle. So I might actually end up making it 49 studs wide. So I will probably end up redoing most of this, but I just wanted to update you guys on that just because I wanted to give you guys a little bit of a periodic update, and I still haven't found those 2x4s yet, but I'm going to do that right now. All right, so I went ahead and I did some more of the tiling, or I guess the design on the right here. And I think this looks really, really good. I'm happy with it, and I am excited to continue working on it. But I did go ahead and make this 49 studs wide here. I did that because I felt like that was just better as opposed to making it the original 50 and then having it not be totally even. So figured that was in my best interest to do that. And how I did that is, you can see on the underside here, I went ahead and I just added some 1x4s in on occasion. And that's pretty much it. I ended up not needing the 2x4s on the ends, so that worked out. And so I just placed the 1x4s in the middle, kind of sandwiched between all of the other plates. And that's pretty much it. So now what I want to do is I want to focus on that middle section that's going to get risen up, and it's going to have the clock on it. I think that's going to look really good. So let me try and work on that right now. All right, so I was kind of busy and I was trying to figure out how exactly I wanted this to look. And I felt like having that big square was just a little bit too much. So I decided to add another row of the shield tiles across the width of the roof here. And I am thinking about making the kind of tower, I guess, a little bit smaller. So it's going to be 13 studs wide now by about maybe like 14 or 16 at most. And so that's kind of what I'm thinking at the moment. But I don't really have a lot of progress to show, to be honest with you, because I actually ended up running out of the 1x1 curved pieces that go in between the shields. So that's pretty unfortunate, but I guess I'll just have to make another order. And so actually with this, another modification that I'm going to have to make to the design here is that I can't use the shield tiles here. As you can see, there's a gap underneath the shield tile and the brick. And so I'm going to have to go in and replace the shields with 2x2 tiles. And then that should fix the problem, as you can see right now. So that's good. The 2x2 tiles work. It's not the exact same pattern or design, but it gets the job done, and it's such a small thing that I don't think it's ever really going to get noticed. So with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and start building up the tower in the middle, and I'll show you guys how that looks. All right, so this is kind of what I'm working with so far, and this has actually ended up being 13 studs wide by, I believe it's 18 studs deep, which is bigger than I expected it to be, and also bigger than I planned on it being. But I don't think it looks bad. I would prefer something more square, I think, so I might reduce this by a stud or two, just so, like, on each side, I mean. So it's, it would be 13 studs wide, and then maybe 16, or I might even go down to 14, to be honest with you, but I am not totally sure. I did place it on the train station, and I'll show you guys that right now. And so pretty much, I think it looks good, but it definitely needs a little bit of work here, as you can see. So it is a lot more tricky to line up the roof when it's on a half stud increment here, but I think that looks really, really good. To be honest with you, this I don't know if I like. To be honest with you, the big rectangle, I like how it's here. I like the placement of it, and I like how it's centered with each of the doors here. But I don't like this width. So I don't know. I I don't really know what to do. I could make it wider like I had originally intended to do. And then so instead of 13 studs, it would be, I think, closer to 20. Could do that. Not entirely sure if that would look good or not. So that's another thing that I have to look into. And then also the clocks I need to figure out as well. So I have to find arches to put them. I was thinking on this side and then on the far side as well. I would love to have 4 to put on all 4 sides, but I don't think that's possible at the moment. I only have those 2. So I'd have to find another bricklink seller that has 2 more. So that is where I'm at with that. So this, honestly, this update is kind of an epic fail, to be honest with you, there's a lot of nothing going on here. Like, we did get a decent amount of work done, and now that I used every single piece that I had set aside for the roofs here, I know how much I need to order, which is good. So I can go in and I can count all of the missing spots, and then I can do the math on the roof for this tower as well. And then I can just order those pieces as needed. But I can't order those pieces until I get this design down. So that is kind of where I'm at with it at this point in time. So I also wanted to do the fence along the back of the platform today, but I don't know what to do about that. I did a little bit of research online, and actually, funny enough, the thing that would look the closest to the train stations that I'm trying to recreate here would actually be a white picket fence. So that would be the easiest solution, to just put that on there and then call it a day. So I don't know. Let me know what you guys think about that. I'll grab one more from here and then just kind of show you what that looks like. I don't think that looks bad by any means. I think it actually looks pretty good. But I don't know. Let me know what you guys think. I could see if I can move it back one, but then it wouldn't be... I'd have to figure out a way to connect it. So that would be the only thing. But again, I don't think that looks bad, to be honest with you. So that is something to consider as well. So I might end up, because I did want to remove the white picket fences from this area and replace them with the black fences that the museum has. So maybe I just bite the bullet and I buy all of the, because I think I maybe spent like $8 or $10 on the fence just for this and the far side as well. So it was a lot of money for a little amount of fence that it was. So I think it was maybe like $8 or something like that. So maybe I just bite the bullet and I get all of the pieces for this, and then I can move these white picket fences over to here. Maybe that's the way to go. I'm not totally sure, to be honest with you. So I'm kind of stumped, to be honest with you. I would really appreciate your guys' feedback. Another thing would also be this over here. This is what this currently looks like for the side of the train station here. And what I'm referring to exactly is the white right here. And now that it's offset by a half stud, I think this actually looks pretty good. I think I like the white there. The only thing is that I don't have a lot of white plate left. So I'm even struggling to just finish this stuff up here. So I would have to figure out what I want to do with this. But I think the half stud recessed part in white looks good. And then I just need to finish it off, obviously, down here. But I think that doesn't look too bad. And so I am pretty happy with that, to be honest with you. But if you guys would prefer to see this in light gray, I'll show you guys this in light gray before the end of the video, and we could do a little comparison of the two. So let me know what you guys think about the white, and then I'll show you guys the light gray right now. All right, so like I said, this is the white here, as you can see right there. And what you are looking at right now, right over here, is the gray. And the gray actually almost looks white with the shadow on it. And I don't think it looks that bad, to be honest with you. But here's a little bit of a side-by-side comparison. So on the right is the light gray that you're looking at. And on the left here, or kind of off to the side, is the white. I think this looks okay, to be honest with you. I like both of them, but let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. I would be really curious to hear what you guys have to say, because I'm torn. I have a lot more light gray plate, so I'm inclined to go with that. But if you guys think the white looks a lot better, then I'm going to go ahead and just swap out the gray for the white, and then we can call it a day. And then that's pretty much it for this section right here. But I don't think this looks bad. I think this is looking pretty good. It's just, I'm getting really stumped for no reason with this section up top here. So I need to figure that out, and I need to go ahead and kind of work on it a little bit more, because as it is right now, if you take a step back, I think, and if you kind of come to the side here a little bit as well, I don't know how I feel about that, to be honest with you. It seems a little wide, like right here, and it's not really that wide going that way. So maybe I should go back to that original width, and then we could take it from there. So I don't know. This is kind of just me sharing my thoughts out loud. So again, if you guys have any feedback on this, I would really, really appreciate it. I could just, I don't know. I really don't know what to do with this, to be honest with you. There's a lot of random things in here that are factoring into this, like the limited pieces that I have, and then the odd number, because I had to put the 1x4s in like I showed you earlier, just to make the math on the design even. So a lot of random stuff going on here. And so I don't think it looks bad, but it definitely needs work. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to try this one more time. So I might rip out this section right here, try that one more time, and then if the big size doesn't work, then I'm going to reduce this to make a smaller square, because I think having a square there would just make a little bit more sense. So I'm going to try that right now, and I'll show you guys what I come up with. All right, so some time has passed since that last clip, and I tried the bigger tower section here, and I don't know how I feel about it, to be honest with you. I think it looks okay, but I don't know. You guys have to let me know what you think about this as well. Here's a little bit of an overhead for you. I think it's a little too big, but maybe that's just me. And then I feel like the clock would be a little too small then. I don't know. I don't really know what else to do. I could make it smaller like I had said, but then I'm not entirely sure if it's going to look too small. I did also go in and add jumpers under this pillar right here and also there, and then that helps stabilize it. So that's all good. And then, yeah, I really don't know what to do about this, to be honest with you. I had an idea in my head of how I wanted this to look, and it is just not looking like that, to be honest with you. I think it's because there's a number of things, like I said, the odd number of studs going across I think is throwing me off a little bit as well. Yeah, I don't know. I also don't know what to do about this as well, because the light gray looks fine, and I have a lot of light gray plate at the moment, but I think the white just looks better, to be honest with you. So I don't know what to do about that. To be honest with you, yeah, I don't know. I would really appreciate your guys' feedback on this, to be honest with you. I wasn't expecting this. I was expecting to at least get most of that tower in today, and then maybe even get the clocks in as well, but evidently not. So I'm going to wrap up the video here, I think, just because if I don't, I'm just going to keep talking about it, and we're not really going to get anywhere, I don't think. So thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any feedback for me on this, please drop a comment down below to let me know what you think. But if you enjoyed this style of video and seeing kind of my thought process on this, make sure to like the video and subscribe, as well as click the bell notification so you don't miss any future uploads. Once again, if you guys have any feedback, please drop a comment down below. In specific, I'm looking for comments about the tower, like the size of it and what I could do about that, and also the white versus light gray under here. So if you guys have any feedback about that, make sure to let me know in the comments down below. I think I want to keep it 49 studs wide as opposed to the 50, just because the math works out a little bit better. And I don't want to go anything longer than this, just because then the overhang is going to be extremely big. So keep it at 49 studs wide, and we're going to leave it at that. But seriously, once again, thank you guys so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I hope to see you next time. Bye for now.